With the ideology and method of creating Carpe DM outlined, I'll next show a complete walkthrough of the application at its current state. So the user arrives in at the initial screen where they can either log in or sign up. So from this point of view, we'll go through the sign up flow. So the user clicks on don't have an account, sign up. From here, they're presented with the chatbot Casey bot that gives a little bit of an overview into the conversation. Ask the user for the name, they can enter in. Then they have a visual choice of gender selection, so they can select there. The chatbot is constantly just reconfirming what the power of the chatbot is, what the application can do, building up rapport. So here you can see different dialogues that ends up being more personal to the user, a little bit of backdate, a bit of artificial intelligence coming through. So the user signs up. Here's some example of the loading or of the typing, and it's all done. So the user is brought into the main screen here. So this will be the main screen of the application, which has an empty state. In it, the empty state is guided by the chatbot to tell you that it is an empty state. It can tell you this. The chatbot tells you what you can do. So you can down the bottom, you can see you're on your trackers page, which is the home screen. You can talk to the bot. You can figure out your statistics, so you can find help. Then, as the bot says, that this is the add a new tracker button. This up the top here would be the date line, where you can skim through different dates, past and previous, and future. And then you have your overview sort of tabs, which is a carousel where you can see your mental health test scores, the number of days you've been tracking, how much percentage you complete through the goals, and so on. So if the user wants to add a new tracker, they simply hit the blue button. This will bring them to the next screen, which follows the iOS interface's guidelines. So from here, you would change the tracker name. For example, history test, then you have your tracker type. This follows a bullet journaling style of applying icons to each type. Then you'd have your day, time that it's on, your notifications, your location, and your notes. So then when you want to add that, you'd add the tracker, and that will be added here. So it's very easy to view. You can see that there's a note available, the time, the type of tracker that it is, and the title. Very simple, very clean. So here's an example of a populated version. So you can see that he's tracking emotions, his sleep, when it's ticked and when it's done, it will become coloured in, similar to the bullet journal. So next is if you want to find help, just say, so the user wants to find help, they want to get in contact with a mental health professional. So they click find help, then they're brought to this selection where they can choose the location, choose the service that they want to find, and then they find help. So in here you can see that there's the number of results in whatever number of location that they're searched for. They can filter, and then they can sort by, and then they're presented with these card-based layout of the different types of psychiatrists broken into counselling type, name and location, price, and then what they cover. This data was taken from a mental health database for Irish mental health practitioners. So if they want to go in and get Miss Mary Jo Dowling, they can select. Then they're brought into this area, which lets as a bottom-up content or information architecture, which lets the content guide the user. So it's broken up into location, education, and services. This, and then if they keep scrolling down, there'd be more. This information was found to be the most important through the mental health professional I interviewed, and the sufferer of mental health. This is the type of information that they want to see. So also integrating the idea of this AI, which has like a next available appointment. So with a quick book. So if you go book it, it will have all your information already populated in here, and then you can actually already send the test results over from your MHI5 tests, add any notes, and then you can book an appointment. So then the bot will tell you that you booked it, bringing back this whole pattern of using the bot to do everything, and then it will tell you what you're going, where, when. And then this is an example message that you'll get, including helpful information based on the tone and voice guidelines. So here it's 40 kilometers away, you'll take you whatever, you should probably leave now. Okay, so back in the home, the final feature is taking the test itself. So we can go in here, talk about the test, simple, offer the no typing because it's a test and should be directly to the point, following the exact MHI5 every single time, so there's never any difference. So they follow through. Helpful message at the end, gives you, like, based on tone and voice guidelines, should always be positive, always helpful to chatbot. And then you can go back when you're finished, view and track it, and you can see it's updated here. That's all the features of Carpe DM. So thanks for watching.